This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by SmallCapVoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.
You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Welcome one, welcome all to this online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith. And we're joined today for the very first time by United Cannabis Corporation. The company's traded under the ticker symbol CNAB. And we are joined by the president and CEO of the company, Mr. Ernie Blackman. Ernie, how are you today?
I'm doing great today. How are you doing today, Stuart?
I am doing very well. I appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to stop by and speak to our company as well as your shareholders. But for the listeners to our company's audio interviews, if you would, let's learn a little bit about the business model and the market for United Cannabis Corporation. Go ahead, Ernie.
Absolutely. So United Cannabis Corporation is a biocannabinoid technologies company. We're built on scientific research, product development, and the implementation of our unique and proprietary cannabinoid therapy program. We have several different revenue-producing streams, so we are obviously a biotechnology company providing turnkey solutions. We develop licenses and provide our products to individual companies in licensed medical marijuana states where it's legal for us to come in and develop our business plan. And then we also have our Act Now program, which is a licensed proprietary software for physicians who are seeking to be able to provide cannabinoid-based products to their patients.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and of course you did. You're the CEO, but in my research, that's the one thing that jumped out to me before the interview as I looked at the company, multiple revenue streams and diversified revenue streams. You can actually help companies, whether it's a small individual to a large company, soup to nuts. I mean, you've got proprietary software, as you just touched on, and I'd like to learn more about that. But again, I think for the listeners, the important thing is this is not a one-trick pony. The company can get licensing fees, they can get brokerage fees, they can get licensing fees again from individual product lines as well as for the intellectual property and management services and direct ownership of cultivation and dispensary facilities where it's federally legal.
Absolutely. You know, at United Cannabis, we're striving to really be the preeminent cannabis company in the world. And we feel like we are one of the only companies that can deliver that complete supply chain consulting from seed all the way to the patient.
Well, and we're going to get into your background as well. But before we do that, you touched on a product line, and I'd like to learn more about it because it was very interesting, the Advanced Cannabinoid Therapy Program, the Act Now program. Let's learn more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Act Now program is the Advanced Cannabinoid Therapy, and it's a guide for physicians who are looking to access a wide range of recommended patient programs and full-spectrum cannabinoid products. Our trademark line is the Prana-based medicinals, and it offers physicians up to 4 specific formulas in either capsule or sublingual delivery methods. We feel like our Act Now program really, with our trademark products, will help strengthen our long-term position in the nutraceutical market.
Excellent, which is, you know, the over-counter nutraceutical market is not to be overlooked by these companies, listeners. We've done our research on that as well, and I think a lot of you already know that from the health kick from all the way back into the 80s to now, the nutraceutical market has really blown up in size. Well, let's talk a little bit about you as our guest. Now, your background is a horticulturalist and an entrepreneur, so you've got the green thumb, and you've also got the business background to run this company. Let's learn a little bit more about you and then the rest of the management team.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm a 25-year patient of medical cannabis. I am actually a patient for bipolar disorder, and I started self-medicating, and if you do the math, it was obviously before medical cannabis was available anywhere in the United States. And I quickly moved that over into growing my own product, and so I've been growing the plant for over 20 years now. And I brought that technical expertise to Colorado, where my partners and I started River Rock Dispensary in Colorado, widely known as one of the most medicinal-based company in Colorado. We service, about 15,000 patients a year walk through the doors of one of our two centers. And, what we're really doing at United Cannabis is being able to take what we've learned here through practical experience and help other people in other licensed states to be able to duplicate the success that we've had here.
That is excellent. Now, what about the people that you've surrounded yourself with, Ernie?
Absolutely. So our Chief Technical Officer and the Director of our Act Now program and the other major partner in the company is Tony Vazura. He runs the day-to-day operations of the Act Now program, runs our patient care and all of that good stuff, handles the doctors. And he's really been instrumental in developing the software-based system that we're using now for the Act Now today. Tony comes from a building and construction background. He's done over $100 million in different construction projects, so he has his mind really wrapped around the business side of things and really structuring and scheduling, and helps to make sure that the company runs smoothly. Then we've got Chad Ruby. He's our Chief Operations Officer. Chad's an entrepreneur also. He's got a background in horticulture and finance, and for the last 15 years he's been working in real estate and working for some of the largest real estate companies in the world, handling, $50 to $100 million portfolios at a time. So he's our Chief Operations Officer. He's really got his mind wrapped around the day-to-day operations of the company, keeping us straight in that manner. Then you've got John Hunter. So John Hunter was brought on as a special advisor to the executive board and a consultant for the company in general. And John Hunter has 40 years of global chemical industry experience. He began working for Monsanto in 1969, was quickly tapped to take over different divisions of the company. So he started running their special chemicals division in 1989 and their fibers division a couple years after that. Once they spun off their chemical division into Solutia, Mr. Hunter was appointed as its president and chief operating officer and became the chief executive officer just a couple years after that. He retired in 2004 and now serves on the board of several large corporations, Penfold Corporation, Energizer Holdings, and a couple smaller places. So we really felt like we brought in a solid, world-renowned businessman in Mr. Hunter to help walk us through some of the pitfalls that we were going to see in being a publicly traded corporation.
Really well thought through in that regard as well. Now let's talk a little bit, listeners, about this company one more time, going back to what I said earlier in the introduction for the company. I did not mention that they are established both domestically and internationally via its consulting services, and the company can work with anybody, as I pointed out, from a local businessman and entrepreneur or scientist, as well as with large companies. And also there are lucrative contracts already in place, and that's on the press wire, and we're going to jump into that a little bit later. But before we do that, Ernie, as you see the major milestones, looking back on the first 9 months of 2014, what do you see as some of the things that the company was able to achieve so far?
Yeah, so I feel like we've been very successful in locating and tapping resources in these states that are opening up to medical marijuana, like what we've talked about. We've developed a relationship with a Canadian company who is very close to receiving their license through Health Canada. We have put in an application in Nevada, which we put out on the press wire, for a retail location in unincorporated Clark County that now sits up at the state waiting to see if that's going to be approved. We've developed and gotten our deal signed with our software, our EHR software, our cloud-based system. That's electronic health records for anybody out there like myself who didn't know what it was originally. And what that does is allows doctors all over the country who are looking to start prescribing medical cannabis to their patients to access the software as a service from United Cannabis to really dial them in and be able to give the right products to the right patients. Recently, we've also signed a deal for an 80-acre greenhouse and outdoor grow project in Pueblo County, Colorado, where we're going to specifically grow the strains that are used in our Act Now program for delivery throughout Colorado through a Colorado-based affiliates.
Well, now looking into your crystal ball, if you will, Ernie, what do you see as some of the goals for the company here in the remainder of 2014 and early in 2015?
Yeah, so our goals, we're going to continue to develop our business plan within the United States. We're going to offer our software system out to other doctors in other states where we're not currently located. We're also going to continue to develop license structure in places like Florida, California, New York, and Arizona. Some of those are still waiting for regulatory control. Some of them are actually already up and running. And, we're able to, like I said, we're a very flexible company, so we're able to come in and work with somebody who already has a license. We're able to come in and work with somebody who just has an idea of a license and take them from the cradle all the way up and help them from writing their license to, picking out their building, to doing the architectural work that needs to be done, security plans, just everything it really takes to attain one of these licenses. Also, we'd like to expand our reach into the Caribbean, South America, and beyond. Let's face it, medical cannabis is no longer a secret. Other jurisdictions outside the United States are moving much quicker on the federal level than what you're seeing here. So the opportunity to expand our business outside the United States is opening up more and more every day.
That's outstanding. And one of the things I talked about before we got into the achievements as well as the goals for the company was some of the contracts that are already in place for the company. If listeners want to follow along, they can look at CNAB. But before we get to those contracts, let's talk about another recent press release here. It came out August 7th. United Cannabis Corporation's Act Now program collaborates with leading physicians' electronic health record provider. Now, how can the Act Now product work in conjunction here? What's the role that it'll be filling?
So the role that we'll be filling at that point in time is there's a lot of physicians out there, many, that are really keen to understanding a little bit more about not only the products, but how the products work. And then also, everybody would like to see peer reviews and really be able to access the information that's going on in other jurisdictions. So what that'll allow us to do is allow our doctors to come in. They'll see a patient. They'll be able to load in the patient's age, what their ailments are, all of the different pharmaceutical drugs that they're currently using to help alleviate some of these conditions. And then at the end, it actually spits out a cannabinoid therapy program for these doctors to use on these patients with these specific ailments. And this is all based on the empirical knowledge that we've learned at our Colorado operations over the last 5 years of seeing those 15,000 patients a year that we see. Everything's cloud-based, and it's a white label project with one of the top EHR-based cloud software systems in the world. And we're really excited to have these guys on board. And, the product is top-notch, and it's something doctors are already using. So for them to be able to come in and access something that they're already familiar with, but yet it helps to educate them on something that they're unfamiliar with, we felt like it was a really good project for United Cannabis to be involved in.
Well, something else you're involved in came out July 7th. United Cannabis Corp signs exclusive management, marketing, and distribution agreements. Now, this happened with the Melts and Emotech, and those are both interesting outfits. Emotech is Jason Emo, and he's got his exclusively processed live resin program. Let's talk a little bit about Emotech and then learn about the Melts as well.
Yeah, Jason is an extremely talented and very, very intelligent individual. He saw a need in our systems to come up with a type of an extraction, a hydrocarbon extraction machine that would recapture the hydrocarbons. Therefore, you're not blowing them out into the environment and ruining that for everybody else. And being able to then take that machine and then license and sell those machines to other companies. Now, that's not necessarily part of our business plan. Our business plan with Jason is to have his machine in our affiliated partners on the ground, and then to have that product, his live resin product, which has been winning cannabis cups all over the world, as a product of United Cannabis, as a specific product to us. So anywhere we go, we're going to have Jason's affiliate, his machines in there, which are UL listed and able to be put into these different projects, really regardless of how tight the regulations are, because he's gone that extra mile to having his machines certified in the way that he has. And then that allows us to then offer his products to the patients of those representative states.
Well, listeners, once again, we are speaking with the president and CEO of United Cannabis Corp, traded under the ticker symbol CNAB. That president and CEO is Ernie Blackman. Ernie, I want to tell you, thank you so much for your time as well as your candor. This has been a very candid interview with you, providing us, especially with your background and how you came into this industry. It's an exciting young company. Congratulations. I think you're going to have a lot of success here in 2014 and 2015. Thanks, Ernie.
I appreciate it, Stuart. You have a great day.
All right, for Ernie Blackman, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com.